Wild card weekend of the dream season. Finally, we can see some elimination games. Starting in the AFC, the ever-important Dolphins and Titans matchup took place back in Week 15 when the Dolphins gave a smack into this Titans defense. 34-24 was your final, and in this game, the Dolphins again hold a huge edge over the 9-7 Titans, but anything can happen. This is the dream season. Let's get going. Second quarter action here. Tennessee would get the ball after a Dolphins field goal, 3-0. It'd be an Eddie George run that would be taken back, negated by a penalty holding against the Titans. A huge break by the Dolphins, and they would take advantage. Titans would have a sack, and that would lead to a punting situation. Then the Dolphins on their following possession, Greasy would drive down the field. Otto Stowe, a big connection, but on 3rd and goal from the 4, Dolphins stopped short, and they would have to settle for yet another field goal, 6-0 now. Then the Titans, right before halftime, McNair with a long bomb to Isaac Byrd, and he would get caught with a huge reception. Then 3rd and goal from the 4, it would be McNair to Yancey Thigpen for a 4-yard touchdown, and the Titans hold a 7-6 lead. But the Dolphins would drive right before halftime with 32 seconds to go. Otto Stowe, big connection. And then inside the red zone for the Dolphins. 1st and goal from the 8 with 6 seconds to go would be incomplete. Dolphins have to settle for their 3rd field goal of the half, 9-7 at halftime. Then in the 3rd quarter, another big play to Byrd that would lead to a huge play to Kevin Dyson. Then from 1st and 10 from the 16, Lawrence O'Neal off the left side, and in his first touchdown of the season, ladies and gentlemen, comes in the wild card game. Now the Titans going for 2, and Eddie George off the left side, he would convert to make it 15-9. But then the Dolphins would drive down the field, but after an incompletion on 3rd down, another field goal, 15-12. But on the very next play, McNair would be intercepted by Johnson, and he would take it off the left side, 40 yards to the house. Touchdown, Miami. Now Dolphins lead 19-15, so the Titans would have to drive down the field, down by 4, and Eddie George would be a big part of that. Off the right side, a gain of 12 yards, and that'd be a Titans first down. But on 3rd and 14, McNair would try to convert, but it'd be incomplete, dropped on the play, and now the Titans would have to settle for a field goal. But then, after a 1-point game, and the Dolphins would have to punt, Tennessee driving down the field yet again. Here they're going past midfield. Eddie George into Dolphins territory. Then, on the very next play, it'd be McNair that would throw underneath to Isaac Byrd, who would have a huge day. And then Laundry on the field, that is roughing the passer, ladies and gentlemen, on the Dolphins. So now the Titans do have a 3-and-out after that, as they would go conservative and leave it to Aldel Greco. The kick to win the football game. The snap kick is no good to the left hash, and oh my goodness, the Titans would lose this football game on the Greco missed field goal. So wow, without the Dolphins scoring an offensive touchdown, they win by the final 19-18. And now as we look at the updated playoff picture in the AFC, the Dolphins move on, and they will take on the Oakland Raiders next weekend in the divisional round. Now to the Chargers and Steelers matchup. The Steelers beat the Chargers at home, same place, way back in Week 4. Rocky Bleier would seal the deal with a long 43-yard score. The final in this one was 32-25. But in the statistical matchup, this game looked pretty much balanced. Offense favored San Diego, defense favors Pittsburgh all the way down the board. So now let's get straight to the action here. Pittsburgh would drive on their first possession. Terry Bradshaw to Randy Grossman on 3rd and 10, first down Pittsburgh, and they would get into the red zone. But on 3rd and 12, it'd be a Grossman connection, but they would fail to get the first, and now would have to settle for a Pittsburgh field goal. Now the Chargers would struggle throughout the first half offensively, but after a Pittsburgh 3-and-out, the Chargers would have good field position, and on 3rd and 8 from the 15, fouls to the end zone. Dwight Scales with a 15-yard score, and despite the Chargers being voted to lose, they're up 7-3 in this game, and they get more favored breaks here as Pittsburgh would travel down the field on a Franco Harris run, but it'd get called back via penalty. Now Pittsburgh would get down the football field on this possession, as on 3rd and 6, Bradshaw would be looking and would fire to Theo Bell with a big connection to get into San Diego territory. And then after a stalwart 24-yard grab, the Steelers would get into the red zone. And then on 1st and 10, Bradshaw would decide to run it. He would fumble the football and to be picked up by Williams. and the Steelers would be in field goal range but would get nothing out of it, 7-3 at halftime. In the third quarter, after a Chargers field goal, the Steelers on 3rd and goal, it'd be incomplete out of the back of the end zone. But on the very next play, the Chargers on 1st and 10, it'd be a quick strike to Kellen Winslow, and he would take it 77 yards to the house, and now the Chargers have a 17-6 lead. So now the Steelers on 3rd and 10, they have to reply, incomplete pass. And on 4th and 10, a play that Bradshaw needs to convert. He is looking, and he throws underneath, and it's incomplete. So the Steelers lose on that incomplete pass, and the Chargers move on to the divisional round. What a huge misplay there by Terry Bradshaw. So the final would be 17-6 San Diego, and the Pittsburgh Steelers stunned at home here in the wild card round. So after the 17-6 win, the Chargers move on. They will take on the Bills, while obviously the Dolphins will take on the Raiders. So there's your AFC divisional matchups. Over in the NFC, we have two big matchups here. The Niners and Bears, obviously, with the byes, but the Rams and Buccaneers. Big matchup. Obviously, they did not play during the Dream season, but it would have been one heck of a matchup. While despite the Rams nearly dead last in all defense, look over at the Buccaneers side and their offense, 29th in the NFL. A big one on tap here. Now, first quarter action. Rams get the ball first, and they would drive down the field. Bruce with a big reception, and then Rondé Barber to change that. It'd be him traveling to the St. Louis side of the field, and Kurt Warner having the struggles from last week earlier in this ball game. And then 1st down and 10, Brad Johnson looking, he would drive down the field, complete to Carl Williams for a 1st down, and then on 2 plays later, it'd be the Buccaneers that would get into the end zone with a Michael Pittman 2-yard run, and it's 7-0 here early in Tampa, but St. Louis would have to respond. 1st and 10 from the 41, Ernie Conwell with a big 20 yards, and then from the 23, the Rams, it'd be another interception, Kelly going the other way, and Robert Kelly having the 2nd Buccaneers interception of the 1st quarter. Second quarter action now, Michael Pittman would get stuffed, and that would end the Buccaneers drive, and the St. Louis offense down by 10 will have to get something going, and they sure would. Oz Hakeem with a big reception, and then Kurt Warner would throw complete to Prohl, and he'd get into Buccaneers side of the field. And then another play, it'd be another big gain. And then on 1st and 10 from the 23, it'd be complete to Prohl, but he'd be 1 yard short. And on 3rd and 1, Warner would be incomplete. So the Buccaneers hold the St. Louis Rams to a field goal, making it 10-3 at halftime. Then in the third quarter, Rams with another drive, but on 3rd and 18, Warner would throw it underneath, and all he can do is gain more field position. They would have to settle for another field goal. 10-6 now, Buccaneers lead. Brad Johnson on the next drive, he would go 3 and out, and then the St. Louis Rams would have another chance here. Warner going deep, complete to Prohl, who would have a big day. And then from the 23, Warner would be complete to Falk, and he would get down to the 1 again. So can the Rams punch it in this time? Third goal from the 7, Warner would be incomplete, and another Rams failure in the red zone, and it's 9-10 instead of possibly 21-10. Then on the following series, Buccaneers would get on a roll. Joe Jurevicius, big reception, 17 yards. And then Brad Johnson would be complete to Carl Williams, another 1st down. Then on 1st and 10, it'd be complete again to Carl Williams. And then on 2nd and 5, Brad Johnson would be looking under pressure. He'd throw it off his back foot, be intercepted by Ronald Bartel, and he would take it after stiff-arming a man 86 yards for the St. Louis touchdown, and he could go all the way. St. Louis TD, and now the Rams have to go for 2, but they're up 15-10. They would convert. Then down by 7, the Bucs have to get something rolling. Keyshawn Johnson to get into the St. Louis side of the field. Then 3rd and 1, Buccaneers would respond. Touchdown, Keenan McCardell. And now this game is tied again. 17 all. And now the St. Louis Rams have to respond. But on the very next play, the greatest show on turf doing what it does best. Marshall Faulk, 73-yard score. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? St. Louis has the lead, 24-17, and the Bucs have to drive down the field yet again. 1st and 10 from the 43, Brad Johnson would be looking. He'd get hit and intercepted by Leonard Little, and that would do it for the Bucs. Rams win by the final 24-17 over the Bucs, and now the Rams will get set to take on the Niners again in the divisional round, and that matchup should be an exciting one. But in the other matchup of the wild card, the Cardinals and the Cowboys will face off. And boy, was this game an exciting one. It was epic, to say the least. Now, early first quarter, Cardinals get the ball first, and Anquan Boldin, part of this Cardinals drive as they get all the way to the 12, and then Kurt Warner, 3rd and 8 to the end zone, touchdown. Larry Fitzgerald, the All-Pro, with the first touchdown, and it's 7-0 Cardinals right off the bat. But then on the ensuing kickoff, the Cowboys would get a good return out of it. Martin all the way to the 42-yard line, a good return for the Cowboys. And then on 1st and 10, it'd be Smith that would get the game going. 8 yards there to bring up a 3rd and 4 from the 17, and Troy Aikman would be incomplete as Agee would be out of bounds, and the Cowboys would have to settle for a field goal to make it 7-3. Then on the following Cardinals possession, it'd be a 3 and out as Crater could not get the first there, and the Cowboys get the ball right back. And on 3rd and 5 from the 48, it would be Alvin Harper with a 52-yard score. And now the Cowboys are winning here with just about 2 minutes to play before halftime, 10-7 in Dallas. Then on 3rd and 11, Cardinals guns a-blazing, going passes all 3 plays, all 3 incompletions, and that brings up a 4th down. Then on the following series, after Cowboys muster out a 16-7 halftime score, Emmitt Smith with a big reception, and then on 2nd and 6 from the 30, Aikman would throw deep to the end zone, and Alvin Harper with his 2nd touchdown of the day, and the Cowboys lead 23-7 in Dallas. Everything rolling right now for the Cowboys. But on 1st and 10, the Cardinals would come back. Big touchdown to Jeremy Irvin to make it a 10-point game. And then on the 2-point conversion, Kurt Warner would be sacked. So the Cardinals do get the touchdown, but not the 2. It is still a 10-point game. Then the Dallas Cowboys on the ensuing drive. It'd be a big play to Michael Irvin, his first catch of the ball game. And then on 3rd and 6, the Cowboys would get shut down on 4th and inches. Jay Novacek, and now the Cowboys would have to punt it away. But on the ensuing possession, 2nd and 5, Kurt Warner would be intercepted for the first time in the ball game, and Isaac Holt with his first pick of the season. Big for the Cowboys. But on 3rd and 4, Agee would be unable to get the first down, and the Cowboys, after a 3 and out, would have to punt the football away. And after a drive that took 50 seconds, the Cardinals get the ball right back, and it is 1st and 10 at the 20. So the Cardinals looking for the comeback here. Warner would be throwing underneath the Breston, and that'd begin the drive. Then on 3rd down and 1, Warner would be throwing, and it'd be incomplete. So the Cardinals would have to settle for the field goal, and the long one from 53 would be good, and Liner would make it a 1-possession game. So now the Cowboys need to have a first down to win, but they could not. 4th down and 5. Now the Cardinals with one final chance to try and force this thing into overtime. Urban for 9 yards. And then on 3rd down and 1, from 30 seconds to go, Warner would have to convert. He'd throw underneath, complete to Becht to get to the Cowboys side of the field. And then with 9 seconds to go, 3rd and 10, Warner would be looking, throwing deep, and it'd be incomplete. So this would bring up the 4th and 10 and 4th in the ball game for the Cardinals. Warner would be looking, throwing deep, and it'd be caught by Fitzgerald, but he is short. But there's a flag on the field, and that is pass interference against the Cowboys Brown, and that is how close it was. There was barely any pushing there. But now 1st and goal from the 8. Cardinals with one final chance to the end zone. It'd be caught for the touchdown, and the Cardinals would tie the ball game. And then in overtime, they would get the ball first, and they would drive down the field with Fitzgerald. That'd be completion to get to the 42, and then Warner would be complete to Boldin to the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, down to the 6. And then the Cardinals with a game-winning field goal. The kick is good, and the Cardinals win. I'm all out of time. See you next week. Thank you for watching this presentation of the Dream Season Football League. Please tune in next time for the divisional highlights. And while you're at it, please contact us on Facebook.